Hey lovers of product, today we are here with Harsh Agrawal from Marketo. Harsh, would you mind starting this off by giving us a little overview of yourself and Marketo?
Sure. My name is Harsh Agarwal. I am a senior UX designer and also the lead UX researcher at Marketo. I'm also leading up all the Pendo-related initiatives and activities out there. Marketo is the leading marketing automation platform for companies of all sizes. I'm part of a 10-person UX team. The UX team is part of the product team, so we work with product owners, managers day in and day out.
So talk to us, Harsh, about why you're passionate about user experience.
We are the voice of the users. You know, we are able to relate. We are able to empathize with the users because we are almost trained to do that. You know, every user is so unique. We are all users at the end of the day of different systems. And when we talk to the users, it's not just about, hey, do you like the product? It's really about getting to know them, you know, trying to understand their behavior models and their mental models, and it's you have to be able to talk to them at a level where they feel that it's easy, that you actually care. And we are able to bring that empathy when we talk to them, and I think that's what gets me really excited and passionate about the work we do, is we become their voice when we talk to the product owners and the PMs who are actually deciding on what to build. So we become the voice of how a user would like to actually interact with this. Would they even want to use this tool or not? And I think it's a powerful position to be in, to be the voice of the user and to impact on how the product would actually work in real life.
So tell me a little bit about how data influences your job, your work, and user experience.
It is huge. I would say without data, I couldn't do my job at all. I have been a huge advocate of data-driven design and data-informed design for years now. You know, data tells you the what is going on in the system. Many times you don't have visibility into that, even when you talk to the users, because the users are not able to, I would say, talk about it very, very, very clearly, because they will talk about maybe at a more qualitative level. They might say, yes, I use the system, but they cannot really tell you in details what exactly they're doing. And so you have the qualitative feedback, but if you can back it up with usability data, you have the quant. And when you combine the quant and the qual, you have the most compelling case to make about what to build, what not to build, or how to build something when you're talking to the product owners. You know, so to me, data is at the core of the work I do as a researcher, as a designer.
Now, you took both quantitative and qualitative data and took it one step beyond typical product managers. You actually built a user research team at Marketo.
Yes.
Why is that important?
So, you know, UX as an umbrella, it's huge. You know, there are so many aspects of user experience. You have information architecture, you have content architecture, you have visual design, UI design, interaction design, and so on and so forth. And then research is that aspect where you don't want to start solving problems right away. You need to be able to define the problem initially, you know, and that's where the researcher role becomes really, really important. Is you become that channel of the user's voice. You're able to synthesize all that information and distill it down to what is that core problem that we are trying to solve, and you're able to provide that direction to the design team and the product team. And again, it is not a simple job. It's a very dedicated role where you're able to actually communicate with the users and empathize with them, and then communicate to the designers in a language that they understand. So it's when we look at researchers, you know, we are not looking at designers at that point. You know, so that's why there is a difference between the roles and the expectations there. That's what I look for when I'm building the team.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. You've done some really amazing things at Marketo.
Trying.
Now, turning this a little bit more of your background.
Sure.
You've done. Marketo hasn't been the only place you've worked. You've had a long history of doing some cool things with user experience.
Right.
When you look back across your whole career, what are the one or two things you're most proud of?
You know, I would love to go back to the first project I did which had something to do with user experience, and I didn't even know I was doing user experience. I was in school, I was doing my master's degree in mechanical engineering at CU Boulder, and my professor, he had tasked me with this research project, and he wanted me to design a purely mechanical prosthetic for amputees. And I was very young, new to the country, new to the culture, and I was put in a room with 5 amputees. And they looked at me with these eyes that I was going to solve their problem. Long story, it was my initiation into user research. Is these users, they have these expectations that you will understand their needs, their desires, and their wants. You'll be able to, again, synthesize that into and build something that will actually be useful for them. And it was a powerful moment to be in that room with them, to hear their stories and their dreams. And I was able to then build something. I was part of a larger group of students who actually built something that eventually did solve their problems. So very powerful journey. That's where I began my UX journey. So there have been a lot of projects I've done, obviously, over my life. But I think that beginning point was a turning point for me, and I always go back to it.
Okay. What keeps you up at night today? What do you worry about?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's good. You sleep 8 hours every day. Solid. You're one of those unique people.
Yes.
That's great. You have to give me. So how do you make sure nothing keeps you up at night? Why don't you give that tip? I could use that one.
It's a rule I follow in my life. There is a difference between stress and anxiety. It is okay to stress about things once in a while. It is okay to be anxious about things. It's human nature. But stress does not solve things. It doesn't solve anything. We know that. Yet we still stress. It's just my rule in life. When I go to bed, I am going to sleep in peace.
That's awesome. That's great. So finally, one final question. 3 words to describe yourself.
Passionate, motivated, diligent.
Awesome. Thanks. I appreciate it. This is great.
Appreciate the time.